Good morning, Rabbi Isai. I don't hear from this side over here. I hear a lot of talking. I'm going to have to do it again. No? Yeah. Okay. Leilui Nishmas Imi Moirosi Ruz Bas Mordechai. This is a beautiful thing. A very, very dear friend of mine who I've been convincing to do the daf for a good few years. He sends me this picture. He says, okay, he's ready to do the daf. Send me a Gemara. So I send him a Gemara. Mayor Maistel in Florida. And here he is in a lounge doing it. His mom is steiging away. A lot of pictures today on planes, trains. People are traveling. Donnie Fine sent me this picture of his father on a bus to Eilat. What's the big chiddush? It's a chiddush.
My father never did the daf before. He's 80 years old. He's doing it on the bus to Eilat.
I know, but he started what? He started like 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, but then he dropped off.
80 years old, and he just started doing the daf basically. He's relatively new to the daf. And
before his 80th birthday,
yeah.
he said, I feel like I'm missing something in my life. I want to start the daf again. It was the night before we started Sanhedrin.
Wow. The night before he started Sanhedrin, whoever didn't hear, it was his 80th birthday. He says, I feel like I'm missing something. I want to start the daf again. And he restarted. And here he is, going strong on his way to Eilat. The famous Shalom Rand has a very popular status. And I say that all the statuses put together, all what he accomplished, unless he accomplished for Torah and for Chesed, not even a 1% to what this one status. I haven't opened up a Gemara in pretty much 20 years. This is on Shalom Rand status. Even in my yeshiva days, I barely learned except for a couple of years. I never thought I'd learn again. After watching Rebelli on your status, Shalom Rand, on your status over the last year and a half, I guess it seeped in like long advertising that it may not be terrible. So sometimes it doesn't work on the first shot. You try again, you try again. For some reason, I can't fully explain. I started the daf from the beginning of Sanhedrin. Now that I'm in a month in, I can say I started for the first time in my life. I went a month straight of learning, all because of your status, Shalom Rand, Yisher Koyach. Did we show this yesterday, this guy learning in Mexico? Did we show this, Yossi Wasserman? How about this one? I used to watch his shir for a while and I enjoyed it tremendously. This past Thursday, I was on a flight from Newark to Fort Lauderdale and I saw something I had to share. Another wonderful yid who was learning the daf while watching his shir. I didn't get his name, but I did get a picture of him for the shir. Keep spreading Torah to all our brothers. What do you do? Hello, I'm taking a picture. It's not posed at all, right? He's learning the daf, Givaldik. The Olam's on the way to Fort Lauderdale. They're on the way to Miami now, Yeshiva week. David Palik Yishkoyach. Shmili Korman. Good morning, Rabbi. So listen to this. All the way from Melbourne, Australia, my father, Yossi Korman, learning the daf after work. Sitting next to him is my 2-year-old son, Yankee Korman.
Hey, Rabbi said,
Gewaldig. The Masechta is sponsored for Shlema for Yosef Chaim Shmuel Ben Alte Nechama from his grateful family. The Masechta for Hatzlacha Berukhniyus Ubegashmiyus. The Masechta, Larry Cohn, in memory of Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim, who started learning Daf Yomi at age 70 and continued for 32 years until he was nifter. Masechta for the unity of the Jewish people. Glenn Esterson, with love and gratitude from Wilmington, North Carolina. Shalom Aleichem on Zoom. How's the Olam doing? How many people are on Zoom today? It's like, I think it's made up because it's the same. It's every day. It's the same number. It's usually 70. Okay. Zechus. So again, parnassa chodesh Nishmat Zechariah b'Moshe Nishmat Chaya bas Yosef. Parnassa chodesh Yosef and Chaya, Sara for parnassa b'Rebach. Parnassa chodesh is zechus for our children and tremendous parnassa. Parnassa chodesh Leilui Nishmat Yaffa bat Simcha Refuah Shlema Yisrael Yaakov ben Malka. Parnassa chodesh zechus parnassa b'Rebach for Baruch Tzvi Nisim ben Shoshana Leah. Parnassa chodesh Kinnovations Zalsin honor of Uncle Chanan Fischel. Zechus v'Akiva Simcha ben Fego Shidduch for Rivka Yehudis bas Yaffa Chaya. Thank you to Rebbe Stefansky. Parnassa Yoim, Surgeon Glicksman and family in memory of my father, Harav Zvulun Yerachmiel Glicksman. Parnassa Yoim, Blackbird Recruiting would like to wish David Wananu Wanunu, a belated happy birthday. Happy birthday. Parnassa Yoim, Gabriel Wolofsky, the Refuah Shlema for Hinda Bracha Basima Golda Omeid. Art of the month for zechus for rebellion in the whole of the white staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many, and in honor of Yosef Klein and Mark Ashkenazi for all the work that they do. Rabbi Yisai, we're holding 12 lines from the bottom of Daf Amud Beis. Question for the Olam to think about. We learned that you cannot start a Torah for nefashos, for capital punishment on a Friday, because you can't kill the guy on Shabbos. We'll get into it. Could you start a Torah? Doesn't say in the Mishnah, but could you start a Torah for nefashos on Shabbos? It's learning. It's necessary to get rid of this. Could you start on Shabbos? It's a malacha, but it's a mitzvah.
Feels like no.
Feels like no. Why no? You can't just say no. It's not a yes or no. You have to know what you're saying.
It's like a...
No. It's a mitzvah. It's in the Torah to do this. It's not over the chol.
Yeah, it is.
No.
It's over the chol. Luv is also not something.
Chas v'shalom. It's not over the chol. It's a mitzvah. Not because
it's also a mitzvah.
Yeah.
Huh?
Right. Not a seder. You might carry the guy, the dead guy. So the answer is
right. Left to right.
Oh.
You can carry it. Here you
No. That's the reason.
No, it's the same idea. You're gonna come to do something which is also to do.
Okay, we're not gonna win. The problem is you're not allowed to write. That is the problem.
No.
Says you have to write down the positions. You're not allowed to write. But if you're allowed to write, if you don't have to write the entire, you're allowed to do it. If you don't have to write, are you allowed to do it? So you're saying something else. So you say something else. It's the writing. It's not the over the chol. It's the writing part. Says the Gemara. Yesterday we learned Remeir compares a bezdin that gathers for mamanas, for monetary things. He learns out from Taras. That what? That you cannot do it entire at night. You have to do the entire during the day. So Remeir. 12 lines from the bottom. Hi biyom anchilas banov. It says in the pasuk, the Gemara brought the shita that you do a din Torah. Remeir, hi biyom anchilas banov. My avidlei. It has to be during the day, but what is it? Why does he need this pasuk? We learn it from Tzaras. Amud Beis Con, like the Torah Rabbi Bar Chanino Kamei Rav Nachman. V'haya biyom anchilas banov. It's a pasuk referring to Yerusha. Ba'yom atamapel nechalois. During the daytime, you give the Yerusha, v'yata mapel necholis b'layla, and you don't give Yerusha at night. So the simple meaning is hard to understand. So only somebody that dies during the day, he could give a Yerusha to his kids. And whoever dies at night, lo yutin libnei. The pasuk says, b'yoyim hanchilas b'anav. You give Yerusha during the day, not during the night. So if the guy dies at night, it's all over. It's hard to understand. The other day, I saw somebody sent a thing that in New York, since the tolls on these bridges, I don't know, $18, $25, who knows what they are today? I haven't been in there a while, like the Lincoln Tunnel. So people line up on the side by Lincoln Tunnel, like waiting to go to the airport. So they line up on the side, because when the clock, when it turns like 7, 8 o'clock at night, then the price drops. They want people to travel at night. So when you get to the bridge 5 minutes before the time, what are you going to pay so you used to wait on the side over there. No, I was just thinking, it's mamish moridik. You have to wait. You tell the guy's about to die. No, noch nicht. It's still nighttime. Wait a half hour. You start CPR a little bit. You get the guy to go a little. You have to wait. According to this, it's between $10 million and zero. Either you get the Yerusha, you don't get the Yerusha. They did a study that 1999 is the year that the least people died. There's a lot of old people were waiting. They were waiting for the millennium, for 2000. They wanted to make it to 2000. You have something to look for. There's another study I saw.
There was a change in the tax laws. There was no death tax.
Yerusha laws. But you see, people could, if you're waiting for something important, if you have nothing to wait for, a lot of people, they retire, they find that they don't.
Certificates for the next day, that's all. They died earlier.
No, it's the Shtar Mucher. The Shtar Mucher doesn't, it's kosher, yeah. The bottom line is if you wait for something positive, that's why they did a study.
Who's they?
I'll tell you in a second. When you hear the study, you'll know exactly who it is. The Agudas Yisrael of America did a study that anybody that learns Daf Yomi lives longer. You're always waiting for the next Masechta. You're waiting for the next season Mashas. You're doing something important.
This is called the royal day.
The next sugya. This is approved by everybody. Says the Gemara. Dilma din chalis kamers. So there's an interesting lashon here. Maybe what you mean to say is that if a person writes a tzava during the day, you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to go to Bezdin. It's perfect. A tzava during the day. If you write a tzava at night, that's what the pasuk is saying. That if you wrote the tzava during the day, you don't need a Bezdin. At night, you do need a Bezdin. The Sanya. So this is Abaye talking. Abaye is trying to explain him. Says the Gemara. This Anya v'hoisel b'nei Yisrael l'chukas mishpat oira kol ha'parsha kula liyois din. It's a din. In other words, it's a finished product. It's done. A done din. Kid Rav Yehuda Amarav, Dom Rav Yehuda Amarav. Shloisha shenichnesu levaker sachayla. Three people come in to visit a sick person. Ratzu kaisvin, ratzu oisin din. They have the ability to either be dayanim, and a dayan will make a din Torah on the spot and say, okay, Reuven gets half of this, and then Shimon gets the apartment in Miami, blah, blah, blah. Or they could be Eidim. Eidim, they're more than an Eidim, but, Trei Kimeya, so they could act as Eidim. What do witnesses do? They write down what they heard. They heard the guy say X, Y, Z, but it's not a din Torah. It's not final. A Rosh Yeshiva goes to visit a very wealthy miser. Guy never gave a dime in his life to any miser or anything. Knocks on his door, comes to visit him. So the guy says, what are you doing here? You know I don't give money to yeshivas. He says, no, I came to be Mevaker Chayla. He says, Mevaker Chayla, look at me. He says, no. Any miser is a chayla. It's a type of a disease. It's a money disease. There are people that have diseases when it comes to money. They can't give anything. They give a dime. I'm coming to Mevaker Chayla. He says, okay, good. Mevaker Chayla, you're yaitza, you can leave. He says, yeah. But it says whoever comes to Mevaker Chayla takes 1/60th of the disease.
Donation?
Kasha for joke. Ratzu kaisim, ratzu oisin din. Shnayim kaisim vein oisin din. Samaisa Shaya. Shnayim, if it's only two people that came to visit, they're Eidim. They can't act as a Bezdin because the Bezdin is at least three. So they have to write down what they heard, vein oisin din, and they cannot do a din. This whole halach of three, he did like this here. Two are just Eidim, and these are Dayanim. At night, what's the halacha? Oh. They're only, I think they're supposed to be, they do have. Oh, here. Yeah. At night, they're only Eidim. And they cannot be Dayanim. Mishum dahavelu Eidim, vein Eid Nasadayan, says Abaya. Is that what you meant to say? This is what you meant, that a Yerusha at night, you come to visit a guy that's sick, that he's an Eid and not a Dayan. Amalayin, Hachikami, that's exactly what I meant to say. Nu Sugya, Dina Nefashis, Dana Bayayim. When it comes to killing somebody, capital punishment, you could only do a din Torah during the day. There's no nighttime. But not immediately, how do we know? Omar Avshim Barchia, Omar Kra. When Klai Yisrael did Avodah Zarah, they did Pa'ar. It's a terrible Avodah Zarah. It's relieving oneself in front of the Avodah Zarah. So they die. It says in the pasuk, "V'hoika oisam," you should hang them. Neged Hashemesh. How do you know that the word hoika means to hang? So that's the Gemara is going to prove from the next pasuk. But it says Neged Hashemesh. When it's sunny outside, in other words, it's daytime. Capital punishment is by day. Rashi and Chumash says over there, very interesting thing. I like to say the interesting stuff. It says, how did Moshe Rabbeinu know who did Avodah Zarah, who didn't? The Anani HaKavod opened up miraculously, and the sun shined in. because it was a cover, it was a protection from the sun, from everything, from all elements. It shined in it like a flashlight at night on the people that did that with the Zara. You were able to see, if you had a thing of sun on your head, he's over. Spotlight. Omer Rav Chizda. Menayin lo yikash itliya. How do you know that the word ikam means to hang? T'chsiv. V'ikanim l'Hashem begiv hashol b'chir Hashem. What happened over there was, we know the famous story of Noiv, Ira Kohanim. Shol killed out all the Kohanim of Noiv. And the Gevinim who lived right there, they were the ones who lied and said that they came from far away, but it turns out that they weren't, and they made them water carriers and wood choppers. But now they were out of work. So Shaul destroyed their parnassa. They were starving. So now they're very upset at Shaul. So they come to David HaMelech and say, we want a little revenge, sweet revenge. Give us some of Shaul's descendants. So David HaMelech asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he agreed to give him some kids. And it says, they wanted to, on Givat Shaul, they wanted to hang them. But Tikach Ritzpa Basayo, this woman Ritzpa Basayo Sasak, Batateu lo elatzur b'tchilas kitzir. Bekitzer, she sat there next to the bodies for 6 months. She made sure that the animals, the birds, they don't touch the bodies. And David heard about this, and then David married her. Upon him it says that they were hung. Says the Gemara, it happens to be that Rashi brings, what Einish Misa is there for Avodah Zara? Skila. And skila you hang. But typically speaking, not irani dachas, regular Avodah Zara. So typically speaking, when you hang someone, you don't let the body stay overnight. So Rashi says over here, very interesting. So he says, there's a problem of you're not allowed to let the body hang overnight. How do these bodies hang for 6 months? So he says, it's better to not listen to that pasuk, and there should be a Kiddush Hashem b'far Hesia in public. These are the kids of Shaul. What are they doing hanging on the tree? He said, he took away the parnassa of Gerim, and this is what happens when you do something like that. And that's a Kiddush Hashem. For a Kiddush Hashem, we could be oiker something in the Torah. Uchsiv, Vayoyim Hashem al Moshe Kach is called Rosh Hayom. Imam Chatu. You should kill all the heads of the nation. But ask the Gemara, Imam Chatu, if the general public, they're the ones that did Avodah Zara, Rosh Hayom and Chatu. Why are you killing the heads? Omer Rav Yehuda Marav, Omer L'Hakadosh Baruch Hu Moshe, Chalek Lohem Bati Dinim. You have to divide the pasuk in two. It's Kach is called Rosh Hayom. That first you have to divide the Rosh Hayom. You have to make up many Bati Din. Don't use one bezdin to try everybody's case. Why? Perhaps you'll say you're not allowed to kill 2 people in one day. That's when they get 2 different death penalties. But when it comes to one death penalty, one bezdin can take care of 2 people. So as Taisves, how come a noyef and a noyefes? The Gemara says you can't judge them in one day. So it says Taisves because over there we're talking about the daughter of a Kohen, and she actually has a different misa than the noyef. Sreifa versus chanik. So Mela. Now it's understood. When there's 2 different types of misas, then it's 2 different days. But if all these people, 1,000 people did Avodah Zara, one bezdin Shema Yisrael. So if it's one bezdin, that's it. Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu say Chalik Lohem Bati Dinim? Divide them up into many, many Bati Dinim. The Panim Yaffa, I thought sometimes I laugh out loud when I read the Panim Yaffa says, why not 2 Bati Dinim? Why not he says because it's a mitzvah to kill somebody that deserves misa. It's a mitzvah d'oraisa. So in oisim mitzvahs chavilois. You shouldn't. And then I'm thinking to myself, wow, it's a nace like some of these organizations that do the petach hamar. They didn't take this on. It's another mitzvah, a very rare mitzvah to kill a murderer, and now they're going to start selling parts in that mitzvah. Chavilas, it's a mamash mitzvah to kill the Ritzach. Chavilas, huh? Don't make any. So, okay. My timer. Ella, says the Gemara, Kadeshi Yoshuv Charin Af Mi Yisrael. Incredible. Check out this Rashi. It says Rashi, Hashem's Kaviyachol is going to calm down. How? It's an unbelievable Rashi. When Hashem sees that people care about him, we're not just one Bezdin and Shalom Yisrael will take care of the business. The whole Klal Yisrael is busy with this. There's a Bezdin on this street, there's a Bezdin in this corner, in the basement over here. Everybody is trying to restore Hashem's honor. That's when Hashem, Kaviyachol, calms down and Yosef Charoinaf. We can learn for us as well. When people go out and recruit people for the shir, HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves it. Even though if you're not matzliach. You know, I'm serious. I just thought about it last night during shir. Mark Ashkenazi tried, never got a single guy to join the shir. When he came to Eretz Yisrael, he got 2 Israelis. You got to keep on trying. Din moment is goimrim boy bayoy. How many? 7 Israelis? 7 Israeli soldiers. Gary, how many did you get? The kid that came once to Shabbos, I hear.
I got 3.
She got 3. Didn't moment is goimrim boy bayoy. So nefashos, the Mishnah continues, nefashos, you cannot be mechayev him that day. When it comes to monetary stuff, you come in and out of bezin that same day, you get a psak, chayev, potter, whatever it is. Not when it comes to din and nefashos. If it's potter that day, but chayev, you have to wait a day. So zokti gemara, minani mili, omer b'chanina. Okay, fine. You heard a lot about bring people to the daf. Seriously, if a person is oisik in shidduchim, just to be oisik in it, I'm sure it gives HaKadosh Baruch Hu a lot of nachas. There's so much tsar going on. So many people don't have shidduchim. So be oisik in it. At least make a phone call. Show. That's the idea, to show that you care. Minan emili. Omer b'chanina do amakro. Mileyasi mishpat tzedek yolim ba. So the Gemara over here is learning. There's 2 ways to learn this pasuk in the sugya. Tzedek yolim ba. By yolin means to sleep it overnight. By yolin ba, you come to tzedek. You have to sleep on it. You have to have one night, go home, and then come back to Bezdin the next day. V'ata, but now, miratzchim, you're killing. Why? Because you're not waiting overnight. You're doing it too fast. Chayiv misa, like in the Arab, death penalty. They're here for 5 minutes. Yeah, l'chari he's chayiv. Boom, dead. V'ata miratzchim. V'rava amar miyacha. Ashru chomoitz. What does that mean? Ashru, like praiseworthy, dayan shemechametz. It's a lashon of chometz, to delay, to you wait 18 minutes and it becomes chometz. Ashri dayan shemechametz as dinoi. Praiseworthy is a dayan who delays the din, takes some time. He doesn't just say chayiv misa that day, the next day. He waits it overnight. V'idach, ashru chomoitz v'loy chometz. You should give praise to the victim, and not to the one that caused the problem. What does that mean? So Rashi says, beautiful. Did you know this? He brings this Gemara Bava Kama. I personally didn't remember it, even though we just learned it. It says Rashi, you go to somebody and say, you owe me $1,000. What's the first thing the guy says? He doesn't deny it. He says, yeah, I owe you $1,000. But you know what? You also owe me because you broke my car, this. You took a mashkin. You have my mashkin, right? You destroyed my mashkin. Says the Torah, you admit that there's a loan? Pay the loan. Pay the loan, then come and claim your claim on the... Don't do, this equals that, and we're even. If you admit that you owe money, pay. You say that he broke your mashkin? Okay, come to the... We'll talk about it afterwards. First, pay up. Somebody think you say, no? First pay up. You could use it in a lot of different... You agree? So first pay. Now we'll talk about the second thing second. This is the one that doesn't want to pay. I'll tell you why. I have a great excuse. Because I gave you my watch, and now the watch is not the same. It got ruined. Got lost. First we take care, we worry about the chamoitz and not the chometz, whatever the lashon is. First we take care of the victim, the one that's owed money. First, he has his money in his hand. Afterwards, I'm asking, great. So it says in the pasuk, Ashru chamoit v'loy chaimetz. Go first. We'll deal with the victim, and then afterwards, the whatever you want to call him. V'yedach haimilei esim mishpat ma'avidlei. He already has a pasuk chamotz. So what does he do with the pasuk of tzedek yolim ba? That we said tzedek yolim means if you sleep it over, you sleep on it, you get tzedek. Says Gemara, Kider v'lazar Rav Yitzchak, Dam v'lazar Rav Yitzchak, chol tainish shemalinim bois hatzdaka. The Gemara in Brachas, a lot of people learned this, right? It's the first 5 daf of Brachas. So a lot of people got there. Brachas daf vav says that I forgot the lashon, agad tanisa titkasa, something like that. That the main part of a tainus is the tzedakah you give. It's not the fasting that you do; it's the tzedakah that you give. So Mela, and especially in the time of the Gemara, there's a minhag that at the end of the tainus they would give tzedakah to aniyim. So imagine a person is an ani in the time of the Gemara, has nothing to eat, zero. He's just fasted a whole day with his aniyos, but he's looking forward to right after Ma'ariv, he's going to get a nice amount of food and he's going to fill up his stomach. And even that doesn't come, so he goes home hungry. What does he do? So you killed him. You pasha killed him. First you made him fast the whole day, and then you didn't even give him food. That's what the pasuk is saying. Now what? Call it. If you don't pay, you don't give the tzedakah to the aniyim. After the tainus, as if you killed him. Shenemar milei asim mishpat tzedek yolim ba. That you let him sleep without tzedek, meaning without the tzedakah. V'atam you killed him. It says the Gemara, that's only if you were going to give him ready-made food, like a date, like a piece of bread. If anyways you're going to give him money, and then he has to go to the store, which the store is closed. Sara, you're going to give him some wheat, then he has to grind it and do all the production of the bread. We're not talking about that. And so obviously this guy already has a meal ready to go for Matzi Tainus. You're not killing him. So you gave him something that has to work on. Okay, so do it tomorrow. Sorry, less number. That's not a big deal. So you waited until the next morning. You're not a killer for that. Says the Gemara, so therefore, says the Mishnah, you don't do it in Torah on Erev Shabbos. My time also. We said this already in the Mishnah, and here it is in the Gemara, Barichos. My time, Mishnah, how are you going to do it in Torah on Friday? If you're going to try him on a Friday and finish up the case on Friday, that's great if you found him not guilty, but what if you found him guilty? And we know they have to sleep on it. Okay, so sleep on it. So if you slept on it and now it's Shabbos, you started on Friday, now it's Shabbos. Oh, you cannot kill an individual on Shabbos, even though it's a mitzvah. That mitzvah doesn't push off Shabbos. So because of what we're saying here, that ein retzicha deicha Shabbos, so now the Gemara is going to give us a couple of beautiful kavachoimers because of that. Because we have this yesod, that retzicha, what does retzicha mean? To kill him in Bezdin. Misas Bezdin, retzicha doesn't mean to kill. Retzicha means that we are killing him. Interesting, I just realized somebody sent me not a little email, maybe they didn't like the word I was using in shir. The difference between murder and killing. So, it seems like the Gemara is saying different than him. Retzicha, it's murder. We are killing him. Saying killing means this, Retzicha means that. The murder and killing, one is on purpose, one is, okay, whatever it is. Putting him to that. But over here, Retzicha, the Gemara is calling the Bezdin a Retzicha. Okay, we're not going to get into that differentiation, but a Retzicha Deichas a Shabbos. So that's the Gemara, what's the problem? Started in Torah on Friday, and then sleep on it on Friday night, and then you don't kill him on Shabbos because it's a Chil Shabbos, and on Matzah Shabbos, bring him to Bezdin, kill him on Matzah Shabbos. So you have everything. Neged HaShomesh being on, it has to be during the daytime, and you cannot kill him at night on Matzah Shabbos. Says Gemara, so what's the problem? Judge him on Friday. Do the Gemara din on Shabbos. The Gemara over here doesn't say it's a problem to do it on Shabbos. It's not over the Chol. You're allowed to continue doing the din Torah on Shabbos. And then you'll kill him on Sunday. Says Gemara, Nimtza, that's a problem. Nimtza tama'anes dinoi. The guy is waiting to get off the hook. And now that he gets the psak din that he's chayiv misa, now he's waiting to die. Pelaploim, I forgot to look into it. It bothers me, like, we say that if a guy is on machines, you shouldn't take him off the machines because every minute he lives is who knows what. And the amount a person can accomplish in 1 minute, and you're a ritzeach if you take off the machine. And over here, we're trying to get rid of his life as quickly as possible, so he shouldn't be bitzar. Everybody that's dying, a lot of cancer patients, at the last stages of life, they're dying. They know they're going to die, but they want to live another day. They want to spend another minute with their family. I don't know. Okay, but over here it says it's manes dinoi. It's full torture. What?
The assumption that he's guilty.
No. If he's guilty, only if he's not guilty, it's fine. If he's guilty, now we have to wait a whole day to kill him. You have to wait. You can't kill him on Shabbos.
So you can't start.
You don't know what's going to.
Either way, you're delaying it. Either you don't do the din on Friday, you do it on Sunday, then you start on Sunday.
On Friday, you don't know if he's Chaya.
No, if you don't know the guy's Chaya.
The whole question is, we don't start on Friday because we might have to kill him on Shabbos.
Right. No, but after the din Torah,
Everything till Sunday anyways. Don't start the process.
the process. You start the process on Sunday. You find out that and you don't know. You say he's guilty. Now you have to sleep on it. Monday morning, you wake up. You do again you deliberate again. Everybody says guilty. Take him out right away and kill him that day. He never has to wait a night. But if you find out on Shabbos, that he's guilty, now you have to wait until Sunday to kill him. You can't kill him on Shabbos. So now he has a whole night to think about it, and he's going to torture himself to death. Says the Gemara, Nimtza Atamanas Dinoi. Oh, so now says the Gemara, listen to this. Nedaina b'mali shapso. So start off the process on Friday. V'nigmir b'cha b'shapso. And do the Gemar din on Sunday. Why can't we start it in Torah on Friday? What's the problem? Start it in Torah on Friday. You don't tell him if he's guilty or not guilty, so he's not suffering. And then on Sunday morning you get together, you skip Shabbos. And on Sunday morning you decide guilty or not guilty and kill him on Sunday. Why can't we start the process on Friday? Says Gemara, Minshu Tamayu. People are going to forget the reasoning they had behind it. Says the Gemara, but we said that there's two writers, two guys, what do you call them? Stenographers are sitting on the right, the left, and they write down what people say, what the Dayanim say. So how are they going to forget? They're writing their words that come out of their mouth. Libo de inche, the inoshe, inchi. Two different words. The heart of a man, he forgets. Inche means to forget. In other words, he might have splurted out something. Oh, he's chayiv because there's a pasuk loisevaru. But he didn't explain himself. He didn't say what his reason is, the svara, the logic behind it. There's a lot going on in man's brain. And that he's going to forget. Because somebody's going to say, what do you mean loisevaru? It's this. Oh, I forgot. I went through it. Like, there's a mitzvah with the Chofetz Chaim, the famous story. A guy comes to the Chofetz Chaim later on in his years. He says, I have a question on the Mishnah Berurah. Mishnah Berurah says, I don't understand it. So Chofetz Chaim said, it's a good question, but I'll tell you what, when I was doing the Mishnah Berurah, and he worked in it for 22 years, when I was writing the Mishnah Berurah, I know that that wasn't a question for me. I went through it at that point. Today I don't know what the answer is, but you could rely on what it says in the Mishnah Berurah. People forget even after one day. So says the Gemara, Hilkoch lo yefshar. That's why you should not start it in Torah on a Friday. What?
Why are they waiting till the next day for Gemara din? They forget also for the same story.
No. Overnight is fine. A whole day, a whole 24-hour period, they forget. Plus his deliberations. Says Gemara. So let me show you this. I think Yoshi did a phenomenal job here. This was actually Rabbi Didia's idea, the concept, and then we worked on it. What? Could be. I don't remember yesterday. One day goes by, I forget.
Like the Chofetz Chaim.
Yeah. So the Gemara says like this. That's a Shabbos candle, and that's a Cohn. If the Cohn and Shabbos have an arm wrestle, the Cohn is going to win. Avoid the Deicha Shabbos. The Cohn beats Shabbos. In other words, we're going to talk about it. If it's a question, we bring a carbon on Shabbos, right? What carbonas do we bring on Shabbos? There's that. So that means Avoida beats Shabbos. Avoida is stronger than Shabbos. What else do we have? Meis mitzvah. A dead man is stronger than Shabbos. Now, we had a shayla, me and Yoshi, like, a dead man doesn't have any muscle. How can he win? So With rubber bands, you could attach a muscle, it's not a problem. So you attach some, you did some, okay? But a meis mitzvah pushes off Shabbos. A meis mitzvah pushes off avodah. He sure is tummy. That's the whole thing. Meis mitzvah pushes off avodah.
Looks like the Cohn is winning there.
Yeah, don't get into that. It's hard to manipulate. Shabbos pushes off killing, that's what we just said. Killing somebody on Shabbos, that's our sugi. That's why we talk about it. You don't kill, this guy's chayiv misa, I don't know why he has a sword. Yeah, whatever. The Shabbos pushes off Misa's Bezdin. So Shabbos wins in this case. Over here, Misa's Bezdin pushes off Avoida, he wins. What else do we have? Misa's Bezdin pushes off Shabbos. Okay, you get the idea. Now check this out. Here it goes. Let's just take these two things. Wow. Hold on. Oh, this didn't update? Okay. Let me just see. Yeah, it did. Baruch Hashem. Okay, awesome. Check this out. It's very, very simple. Everybody can come to the same conclusion by themselves here. If you have 1 and 2, we'll understand what 3 is. If avoida beats Shabbos, and meis mitzvah beats avoida, so certainly meis mitzvah beats what? Shabbos. If avoida is stronger than Shabbos, and meis mitzvah is stronger than avoida, so certainly meis mitzvah is stronger than Shabbos. Very nice. And here we go. Meis mitzvah should beat Shabbos. That's the whole thing. That's the whole sugya, and we can finish it until we turn the page. Says Gemara, we'll take furas meis mitzvah doicha Shabbos v'gavachaymer. I want to come out to the conclusion 3 that meis mitzvah beats Shabbos. That what? That if you find a dead man in the middle of nowhere and nobody's there to bury him, you could push off Shabbos. You could take a shovel on Shabbos, dig, be over all these surim of Shabbos and bury him. Have a kavachaymer. Ma avoida shedoicha Shabbos. Avoida number 1. Avoida pushes off Shabbos. How do I know it pushes off Shabbos? Because it says in the pasuk, we say, it said in Musaf, right? We bring korban tamid on Shabbos. I have to say the vart. I say it every so often. It's one of the best varts from Charlie Harari, one of our first speeches of MDY. Like when we did the Sima Masechet Shabbos, we had 500 locations, something with sugar. It was unbelievable. And Charlie said this vart, very famous vart. It's a gewaldige vart. It's a chiyuv to repeat it every so often, that the Ein Yaakov brings a medrash that no one actually located the medrash. He says that there's 3 Tanaim that had an argument. If you have to encapsulate the entire Torah in one pasuk, what pasuk would it be? So one Tana says, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, Yichud Hashem. The other one says, V'ahavta l'reacha kamoicha. Makes a zeklagol about Torah. First comes, and the other Tana says that it's a keves achat aseh b'boiker, it's a keves asheni taseh ben arbayim, korban tamid. And the question is, what's the connection? And that is the yesod of Yiddishkeit. And now, actually, in the last half a year or so, it even became, for me, clear and clear why this is such a big yesod in Yiddishkeit. The creation of a habit, of a hergel, of every single day in, day out, learning Torah, not stopping for a moment, that is Yiddishkeit. And that's the yesod of korban tamid, of bringing a korban every single day of the year, no matter what, Yom Kippur and Shabbos, and every single day, thus is Yiddishkeit. And that elevates a person to another madrega. So anyways, we see that a korban, which is avodah, pushes off Shabbos. So that's step 1. Avodah pushes off Shabbos. Now meis mitzvah pushes off the avodah on the. If there's only one kohen in the world left, and he's in the Beis Hamikdash, and there's a meis mitzvah, he has to bury the meis, and he has to become tamei. So certainly then, meis mitzvah should beat Shabbos. Because if meis mitzvah beats avodah and avodah beats Shabbos, so certainly meis mitzvah should beat Shabbos. That's the whole thing. But we're just going to go on a tangent a little bit to explain this line over here. I learned it from the pasuk v'achoisik. This is Sanya. So here's the psukim. It's referring to a nazir. Kol yemei hazir el Hashem al nefesh meis lo yavai. If pasuk vav was the only pasuk, I would know that a nazir who says, I'm going to abstain from wine and anything to do with wine, and he's going to grow his hair and he's not going to become tamei, he's not allowed to become tamei to anyone. So why does the following pasuk say, and even to his father and his mother and his brother and his sister? These are all extra words, and Rashi brings us what each word comes to say. We're going to focus on the word al-achoisai. What does al-achoisai come to tell you? The man was walking. Now, so says Rashi, we're talking about even the most severe case called a kohen gadol who happens to be a nazir and he's walking and he happens upon a dead person. But he was walking to bring to shecht a carbon pesach and to do a mitzvah milah, to do another mitzvah. Daf Yomi base. Base. And he heard that somebody, let's say his own sister, died. Yochol yitama. Perhaps he should become tomiter. Amarta lo yitama. No way. No tuma. Yochol geshem she'enu mitama lachoisai. Kachan mitama l'meis mitzvah. Maybe he should not even bury the meis mitzvah. Talmud loymar ula achoisai. Only to his sister he should become tomei lachoisu deinu mitama. Avo mitama l'meis mitzvah. Okay, just a quick story about the Chazon Ish. Also a classic, but it explains what meis mitzvah is. There was a man in Beersheba that was having interesting dreams. He wasn't religious, and he told his wife that his father keeps on appearing in his dreams, says, become Shomer Shabbos. And his wife told him he's crazy, he's dreaming, and he had enough at one point, and he went to the Rav of Beersheba, and the Rav of Beersheba wrote a sefer, and he writes the story in a sefer. He goes to the Rav of Beersheba, this is years ago, you're talking about 60, 70 years ago. Goes to the Rav in Beersheba, he says, I have these dreams. Says the Rav in Beersheba, I have no idea. I have no clue what a dream. I'm not a dream kind of guy. But there is a person in Bnei Brak, his name is the Chazon Ish. He's known, he could deal with Neshama's dreams, go to him. So he goes to the Chazon Ish, and the Chazon Ish looks at this guy, and the Chazon Ish says, before the guy opens his mouth, he says, you're the guy that your father keeps on coming in dreams? He says, yes. So the Chazon Ish said, tell me, b'mazochisa, why do you think you're zechus to such a thing? He said, because I once did this, and I gave somebody tzedakah, and I helped that guy. He says, no. I need something juicier. And finally, he says, when he was like 12 years old, the Nazis killed a bunch of people in town, and his father said, take their bodies and bury them. And he said he was disgusted, it was dead people, and it was heavy, and he had to go through some places where he could have got caught and killed. He was moiser nefesh, and he buried the meis mitzvah, and the Chazon Ish says, now it makes sense. And then the story, of course, he became a Baal Tshuva, and 9 months later, whatever. So, Shabbos shenitris mipnei avoida. So now Shabbos shenitris mipnei avoida. We know that Shabbos gets pushed off to bring the carbon tamid. Enidin shetei meis mitzvah kfuras meis mitzvah doicha isa. So certainly step 3. Certainly meis mitzvah should push off Shabbos. If avoida pushes off Shabbos and mitzvah pushes off avoida, certainly meis mitzvah should push off Shabbos. Says the Gemara, Omerlei, no, not a good raya. Ritzicha techiach, our sugya, that misas bezdin, you don't do misas bezdin on Shabbos. But yet, I have a case. Shedoiches avoida. There's no proof if something pushes off avoida. Why? Because misas bezdin pushes off avoida. What happened? A kohen is about to perform avodah. He didn't start yet, says Rashi, because if he started, we don't stop him. But he's about to perform the avodah, and he's the last kohen alive and the last kohen in the Beis Hamikdash. We pluck him out of the Beis Hamikdash and we judge him on whatever he did for chayiv misa or whatever. So it pushes avodah. We just established in our sugya you don't kill a guy on Shabbos, but yet that same thing, Mrs. Bezin pushes off avodah. Says the Gemara. But maybe I should kill somebody that's chayiv misa. He's a murderer, and the Bezin came to the conclusion that he's chayiv misa. Kill him on Shabbos. Why not? What's the kal v'chomer? So let's do this kal v'chomer inside. Here we go. Very simple. Sorry. If avoida pushes off Shabbos, you do bring a carbon on Shabbos. Misas bezdin outdoes avoida, you say no. You don't do the avoida, bring him to the court. So certainly, misas bezdin, which is stronger than avoida, and avoida is stronger than Shabbos, misas bezdin should break Shabbos. You should kill him on Shabbos. You should, even though he's the only Cohn in the world, take him off the Mizbeach to die. You go judge him. And Shabbos that you bring a carbon tamid, and all the other korbanos you bring on Shabbos. Certainly, Mrs. Bezin should push off Shabbos. Omarava, you're right. Great kavachaymer, but I have a pasuk. For Pascha, Tana the Rabbi Shmuel, because we learned the Rabbi Shmuel. Tana the Rabbi Shmuel, the Torah says, here, let's do this real quickly. What does it say in the Torah? We say this in Kiddush, we say this on Shabbos, and Shemon Esrei. You're not allowed to do any of the Lamites Malachas. So then why does the Torah say that you're not allowed to make a fire on Shabbos? Oh, let me show you this video first. We'll try it first, and then, here we go.
Nimrod, what are you doing? Today is Shabbos. Lighting a fire on Shabbos is chorus. Skila.
Dad, I remember something from what I learned in Yeshiva. Don't try to fool me. Lighting a fire on Shabbos may be forbidden, but there's no chorus or skila.
First of all, that is only according to Rabbi Yossi. But according to Rabbi Nassan, it is like all Shabbos prohibitions. Second of all, any Aveira is very serious. You never know what will happen if you violate a prohibition from the Torah.
What could possibly happen?
Oh, no!
All right, so Zog the Gemara. Why does the Torah talk dafka about? It doesn't talk about any other lamites malachas. Doesn't talk about ktsira, zriya, all these other. This lamites. It talks. Don't make a fire on Shabbos. It's unbelievable. Halavayda should be the halacha, no? According to Rabbi Yossi, you're not over. You don't get a misa. They don't bring you to bezin. A guy drives a car. If it's the issa deraisa of eish. It doesn't get Misa. He gets Malchus. That's why I said Alavai. All these Michal Shabbos in a car wouldn't get Misa. What? By the way, sometimes I think, I'm throwing this out, it is this, the rights, it's a lav, but if a person had to be Michal Shabbos, l'chayre should drive an electric car. I'm just throwing this out there. There's not even any fire. Huh? Alexis. No, Alexis, even during the week. Nachman says you can't. That's what I'm saying. A Tesla, self-drive, and yeah. Either Rabbi Yossi, that's why people get self-drive these days. Either Rabbi Yossi, a guy told me he came to the shir here, and he said he's going to send me an email. He says every single day he commutes with his Tesla. He has a long drive, and it's self-drive. He says he watches the shir 100% on the screen. You just have to touch the steering wheel. He doesn't look at the road, nothing. He's watching the shir. He's focused on the shir. What? No, but it's a Tesla, self-drive. It's very, trust me, ask Noam. If you were ever, I was in Los Angeles, this car's they drive around, less accidents than people, trust me. Not all people, the certain people. If I was the president of the United States, I was signing to, maybe I should watch what I'm about to say. Certain people, for certain classes, they could get a license, but they can only drive in self-driving cars, especially in reverse. And it says Rav Nassan. No. You would think that if a person does all lamites malachas, he's a Rasha. He opens up Yoni's Mishnayos and he starts going through, okay, Ktsira, let me do Toichen, let me do Kaitzer, let me be over in all lamites. How many korbanos or how many chiyuvim is he over? Let's say he doesn't know. Let's say he was in Hawaii, like my daughter. She didn't chap, but then you're Erev Shabbos. You don't know what day Shabbos is in Hawaii. Is it Sunday? Is it Shabbos? So you're confused. And you do a bunch of Isuri Deraisa, Lamites Malachas. How many korbanos do you have to bring? It was Shoigig. You didn't realize. You thought Hawaii is part of America. So how much? So it says Rav Nassan, each one. How do I know? From this pasuk. Because the pasuk brings it out. It's different. Each one is an individual. So you have to bring, if you did all 39, 39. If you did 39 times fire, 39 fires in one Shabbos without knowing that Hawaii is different, then you only bring one. The Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Nassan, unbelievable. Sfasema says, this is great for you, Rabbi Mendirel. Sfasema says, what's the difference between, why fire different than all? Why not, if a guy reaps his fruit on Shabbos, he should only be over and alive and not Misa. Why fire? Says the Chsfas Emes Moirdik. Guess what? The first Shabbos in the world, there wasn't even fire. There's only 38 malachas. Fire only existed on Matzah Shabbos. So it's weaker than everything else. Says the Gemara, Elo Marava, Tana Moshavis Kashili, Tana Moshavis Kashili. So we're still going with this Moshavis Kashili. Moshavis Matam Aloima. I have a special pasuk. Why does the Torah say, you shouldn't light a fire in everywhere you live? Living has to do with only certain mitzvahs. Where you live. If you live in Eretz Yisrael, you have these mitzvahs. If you live in Chutz Yisrael, you have this. Shabbos has nothing to do with the country you live in. Shabbos is you, yourself. Your own body is chayiv. It's in everywhere. So why does the Torah say Moshe Seichem? If a person deserves to die, maybe perhaps you should kill him even on Shabbos. It says in the Torah you shouldn't be Mechal Shabbos. All the malachas in the world, but Bezdin has the right to kill on Shabbos, perhaps. Maybe you shouldn't kill him on Shabbos. There is an Issur D'Oraisa to kill somebody on Shabbos. And when the Torah says, go kill him, it means 6 days out of the week, not 7. I don't know, I'm confused. Maybe it means even on Shabbos. Why? Because I have a Kal V'chomer, the Kal V'chomer that we just brought, so you should be able to kill him on Shabbos. No, we have a special pasuk that says, do not kill him on Shabbos. How do I know? Because it says the word Moshe Seichem. And later on by Mises Bezin, it says, the same word, Moshe Seichem. So that's called Hekesh Gzer Shava. Ma Moshe Omer La'alon. Bezdin, when it's talking about Mises Bezdin, where do you do Mises Bezdin? In a Bezdin. Av Moshe Omer Kan, Bezdin. So when it says, Lo Yisevaru Eish, do not be Mechal Shabbos, it's referring to where? Even in Bezdin, don't be Mechal Shabbos. You don't have the right. Just because you're Bezdin doesn't mean you're allowed to be Mechal Shabbos. Moshe Omer Kan, Bezdin. End of the story. So that's his source where you see that you do not kill somebody on Shabbos. Omar Abaya, now that you already established that Bezdin doesn't kill somebody on Shabbos, so says Abaya, finally a last one here. Shabbos beats Mises Bezdin. We just established. You don't kill somebody on Mises Bezdin on Shabbos. And Avodah beats Shabbos. You bring carbon tamid and you bring the karbanos. So therefore, Avodah, which beats Shabbos, and Shabbos, which beats Mises Bezdin, certainly Avodah should beat the Mises Bezdin. So, Shabbos so therefore what? If there's a Cohn who needs to perform the Avodah, and we think he's guilty of murder, you should let him stay there to perform the Avodah. It says, you should take him off the Mizbeach to kill him. No, that's not an irregular Avodah. That Avodah, which is for the Klal Yisrael, the carbon tamid, that you leave him. That's referring to when an individual has a carbon that he wants to bring on his own, nothing to do with the tzibur. That, and the Kohen wants to perform that avodah, and we think he's guilty of murder. Remove him from the mizbeach. Rabbi Say, have a wonderful day.